Good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is David Prince, and it's just an honor to be here. I haven't did anything like this in a long while, but it's time to to share a little and to give a little life to life. Um, this is called Black Voices Now, and I've sort of like changed. I talked about it, so it's Black Voices Then. I'm going to do the poetry of Langston Hughes, Paul Laurence Dunbar, and James Weldon Johnson. As you know, Langston Hughes was part of the Harlem Renaissance. Harlem Renaissance, where the black professionals, the black intellectuals, the artists, the poets were all hanging out in Harlem in the 1920s. Langston was around he's traveled a lot. He was a poet, playwright, and all. And he wrote a poem in 1921 called The Negro Speaks of Rivers. So that's what I will start with. I've known rivers. I've known rivers as ancient as the world. And I've known rivers as ancient as the world and as old as human blood that flows through human veins. Yes, I've known rivers, ancient, dusky rivers. I bathed in the Euphrates when the days of the old. I've looked over the Nile and raised the pyramids above it. I bathed in the Congo and built my hut nearby. I've known rivers, yes, dusky, ancient rivers. My soul has grown deep like the rivers. The second poem by Langston was entitled Mother to Son. For my purposes, I changed it to Father to Son because I have two sons and I mentor a lot of young men. So I will start. Where's my wife? Well, son, I'll tell you, life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It's had cracks in it and splinters and boards torn up and sometimes no carpet on the floor, just bare. But I still climbing, reaching ladders and turning corners and going in the dark where there ain't even been no light. So don't you sit down. Sons, don't you sit down. Because it gets a little hard. Because I still climbing. I still going. And life for me ain't been no crystal stair. Now, Paul Laurence Dunbar. Paul Laurence Dunbar was born in the 1870s. He was the son of ex-slaves, so he wrote a lot of his poetry in dialect. So I'm going to do two of his. I will start with When the Cone Pones Hot. There comes a time in life when nature seems to go when nature seems to slip a cog and go just a rattling down creation like an ocean's overflow. When your world just starts a spinning like a pickaninny's top and your cup of joy is brimming till it's about to slop and you feel just like a racer that is training for the trot. When your mammy says the blessing and the cone pones hot. When you sit down at the table, sometimes a little tired, sometimes a little mad. How your gloom turns into gladness, how your joy drives out the doubt. The oven door is open and that smell comes pouring out. Why the electric light of heaven seems to settle on the spot. when your mammy says the blessing and the corn pones hot. When the cabbage pot is steaming and the bacon's good and fat, and the chitlins is a sputtering just to show you where they's at. Take away your soda biscuit, take away your cake and pie, for the glory time is coming and it's approaching mighty nigh. And you want to jump and holler, though you know you better not. When your mammy says the blessing and the corn pones hot. I have heard a lot of sermons, and I have heard a lot of prayers. And I have listened to some singing that has took me up the stairs of the glory land and set me just below the master's throne and left my heart a singing in an happy aftertone. But them words so sweetly murmured that seems to touch the softest spot is when my mammy says the blessing and the corn pones hot. The next one by Paul Laurence Dunbar, it is called When All Is Done. When all is done, and my last word is said, and ye who love me murmur, he is dead. Let no one weep for fear that I should know, and sorrow too, because you are sorry and so. When all is done, and in that oozing clay, you lay this cast-off hull of mine away, pray not for me, for after long despair, the quiet of the grave will be my prayer. For I have suffered loss and grievous pain, the hurts of hatred and the world's disdain, and wounds so deep that love, well tried and pure, had not the power to ease them or to cure. So when all is done, say not that my day is over, or that through the night I seek a dimmer shore. Say rather that my dawn has begun, because I greet a new day and not a setting sun. Paul Laurence Dunbar. James Weldon Johnson. He mentioned that I was in the Phi Beta Sigma fraternity. So was James Weldon Johnson. He was born in the 1800s in Jacksonville, Florida, and during the 1920s, he was the national president of the NAACP. Now he wrote a poem, Lift Every Voice and Sing, started as a poem. His brother Rosamond put it to lyrics and made it the song that we sing now. Now this was introduced in the 1900 as a celebration of the birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. And 500 school children sang the song in honor of President Lincoln. I'm just going to do the third verse. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast kept us on this land this far, thou who hast led us into the light, Lord, keep us in the way we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee, lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shattered beneath thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God and true to our native land. Thank you very much.